The problem with using evolution as a source of morality is that it eliminates objective morality.
Well, maybe that's because, by definition, objective morality cannot exist. Let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Meet YouTuber State of Daniel, who seems to think that objective moral truths, absolute morality, exists. And while I can understand how comforting that notion may be, it's simply not the case. Have a look.
By definition, evolution is something that's always changing, so as a byproduct of evolution, morality would also change as well. But there are objective truths that we all believe, such as lying is wrong, stealing is wrong, murder is wrong. Those were morals that were accepted yesterday and they'll be accepted tomorrow.
And what we have here is some definitional confusion, because objective is not the same as universal, and what Daniel here is describing is the latter. Something which is universal is believed by everybody, or at least a very large majority, but something which is objective doesn't need to be believed at all because it is not the product of any mind. The definition of objective is not influenced by personal feelings, interpretations, or prejudice, based on facts, unbiased, or intent upon dealing with things external to the mind rather than with thoughts or feelings, and existing independent of thought or an observer as part of reality. If morality is objective, then it should exist even if there are no thinking minds to maintain its existence, and that includes God's mind if a God exists. And I challenge you to show me how this is possible.
So if we're using evolution and the need to survive as a source of morality, you're saying that today rape is wrong, but tomorrow, pending a nuclear holocaust, it could potentially be okay.
Well, unfortunately, yes. We don't tell legends of armies going around raping and pillaging for nothing. And while the village women probably didn't much care for it at all, I bet you the barbarian hordes thought it was just the best thing ever.
Have you done this sort of thing before?
Me? Of course. I've been looting and pillaging up and down the coast.
Looting and pillaging, eh?
Yes.
What about the raping?
Shut up.
Well, it's obvious you haven't raped anyone in your life. Shh.
I think rape is wrong because it's done against someone's will and it hurts them. But those are my reasons. Someone else may have completely different ones, or may not understand why someone would consider rape to be immoral in the first place. There are a lot of behaviors that people consider immoral, but those behaviors vary from culture to culture, and even from person to person. And I ask you, by what standard do we judge those actions to be immoral that isn't someone's opinion, even your God's?
Now, I know there are going to be some people out there who are going to try to argue and say, well, morality does change. Slavery was okay in the 1800s, but it's not okay today. My response to that is that the underlying morality has always remained constant. Society's views of morality might change, but there are certain truths that are always there.
I'll agree that certain moral precepts do seem to be mostly universal, but suppose for a moment that there was a sudden bip and all of humanity, heck, all life in the universe, was wiped out in the blink of an eye, or it never existed in the first place. Would those morals still exist, with no minds to think them? And what makes you think those morals aren't the result of evolution? Good behavior and cooperation are certainly more beneficial than anarchy and selfishness. Would not morality help a species survive better and grow stronger? By what evidence can you show that morality exists regardless of its evolutionary necessity?
For instance, let's say the Nazis...
Nazis? Really?
It's a peddling.
Let's say the Nazis had won World War II and had brainwashed the world into thinking that the Holocaust was okay. The Holocaust would still be wrong no matter what society thinks of it. And the reason we can say the Holocaust is wrong no matter what the Nazis or anyone else thought of it is because objective morality exists.
How is that any different than saying, because I said so? I mean, I thought the Holocaust was immoral, and clearly you did too. But my reasons are that it killed a whole bunch of people who did nothing to earn it. Your reasons seem to be, it's wrong because objective morality.
In fact, I think it's kind of silly to say that nature is a source of morality. Nature doesn't recognize our moral compass.
I hate to break it to you, pal, but we are nature. Our morality is part of nature.
If you look at the animal kingdom in nature, for instance, there's a lot of harm that you see being done. We're the only creatures that stop to ponder whether anything is right or wrong.
Really? You think non-humans don't have morals? Have you ever seen a cat or a dog caught in the act of something they know they're not supposed to be doing?
You never see a pride of lions congregating to figure out if there's a more humane way that they can kill their prey.
No, you don't. But that's not a very good example from the animal kingdom. And if that's the only one you've got, you haven't done your research.
A young impala tries to cross the water. But then he's held fast in a crocodile's powerful jaws. In moments, the croc will drag him under. Nearby, a giant hippo looks on. Then, amazingly, it's driven the crocodile off. What follows is even more incredible. At first, it might look like the hippo wants to claim this meal for itself. But that's not what's happening. The hippo nuzzles the wounded impala, then takes its head in its mouth, not to eat it, but seemingly in an attempt to revive it.
According to the rest of that clip, the impala eventually died, but certainly not at the hands of the hippopotamus. And what we have here is one species risking its life to save another one from vicious, bloody death. And you think animals don't have morals?
I think the inherent drive for humans to do what's right is directly correlated with objective morality, which I think is dependent upon the existence of God. You can't not believe in God, yet still believe in fixed moral truths.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
You can believe in fixed moral truths without a God. Heck, you can believe in anything you want to without a God except for a God. But in either case, what does believing have to do with whether these fixed moral truths actually exist? I can believe in UFOs all I want, but that doesn't make the lights I saw in the sky extraterrestrials. You're going to have to provide more for your case than these because I say so arguments, kiddo.
Even Richard Dawkins writes,
Now look, I like Richard Dawkins. I like a lot of what he has to say. But do you think just because I kind of respect the man, that just because he did this for me...
You're watching BionicDance.
...that I'm going to take everything he says as gospel? Of course not. Like everybody, what he says is subject to critical scrutiny. So don't go trying to use him as a trump card.
the universe that we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, for example, no God, no evil, no good, nothing but pitiless indifference. It's pretty hard to defend the absolutist morals on ground other than religious ones.
And given that he and I both seem to think that religion is a steaming load of hooey, that should tell you that they can't be defended at all.
But those are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think.